MLB 英語解説
You had another major free agent signing, the most major of this offseason, in Juan Soto. I want to use the Soto signing to maybe give fans or people that are interested in the sport a little bit of a window into your job. So can you describe to me sort of the process of thinking about Juan Soto? In other words, at what point do you start thinking, this is someone that we want to sign, and what do we need to do in order to sign this person?
So, Juan Soto is such an interesting case and really such a unique case from a free agent in that you saw his free agency coming for a long time. He turned down a very, very big contract offer in 2021, I believe, with the Washington Nationals. From that point forward, the industry knew he was going to be a free agent, and that was his goal. And so you could really plan, beginning at that stage, for an eventual...
So are you planning day one, you take the Mets job, and it's Juan Soto?
Yeah, look, Juan Soto was among a host of players that Steve and I discussed during the period where we were discussing me taking on this position. And so I think I understood Steve's perspective, and he very much understood my perspective as I was coming into this position on our pursuit of elite free agents. And there aren't a lot of them out there. There aren't a whole lot of opportunities to be able to acquire a generational type player, a potential future Hall of Famer on the available market. Usually you're trading young players, and in this case, Juan was a free agent at a very early stage in his career, and that's why he attracted so much attention.
Okay, so you have a discussion with Steve. You're like, look, is this a possibility? You say yes. Then what? Sort of how does that go from the abstract to the tangible? What can you do prior to the point where he actually becomes a free agent, his contract expires?
Yep. So all you can really do is do your internal work to determine that you have the best understanding possible as to who this player is on the field and who he is off the field. Both so that we can set our own internal evaluations, so we can understand how far we're willing to go, what makes sense for our franchise, the impact he can have on the field, off the field for us, but also understand what might appeal to the player. A big part of this process with a premium free agent is the non-monetary aspects of the deal, the recruitment, him understanding who we are as an organization, and then ultimately his determination as to whether we're the right fit.
When you guys determine of something like player valuation, how much of that is sort of predetermined versus how the market sets? I'm thinking about this like, if you're buying a house, you may go in with a budget, but then once the negotiations start, the budget changes. Is that what happened with Soto?
I think you go into any negotiation with a range of possible outcomes. And certainly when you're dealing with a premium free agent where you know there's going to be a significant amount of competitive bidding, you expect it to push the outer limits of those expected outcomes. And that's what's happened here. But we understood that this was going to be a player who was highly sought after. We understood there were going to be a number of big market, well-financed teams who were going to bid on his services. And really, I think at the end of the day, money's always a factor, and money was a big factor. But all the clubs were relatively close in their final bids, and we had to make sure that once we got to that final stage, we gave our best effort to make Juan Soto want to be a New York Met.
All right, so let's fast forward to that stage of things, because you guys have been open about how you didn't really know if you're going to get Juan Soto until like 30 minutes before the bidding is closes. So what are those hours like? In other words, are you holed up somewhere with Steve and you're on Zoom calls with Scott Boras and he's saying, hey, this is what the offer is? Or is he asking for specific things toward the end?
So, this is a weeks-long process with many ups and downs and twists and turns, and you make series of offers and try to gather as much feedback on those offers.
Is he saying like final offer, like is it multiple final offers?
It's not necessarily. That there's a staging of offers, and then ultimately it's the agent's job to push each club to the max, and we have to decide on the club side what is our max, and then make a very firm, hard stop. And so in this case, I think Scott Boras got multiple clubs to their max, and then Juan had the opportunity to decide what was the best fit for him.
And when you say max, in those sort of late stage conversations, is it mostly just years and dollars, or are other things coming into the picture?
I think years and dollars generally drive all free agent pursuits. As you get to the closing stage, the finishing stages, there are going to be other aspects of a deal, other maybe softer aspects of a deal that come into play. But in my experience, years and dollars on the contract side generally drive things.
それでは、クリップ内に出てきたネイティブがよく使うリアルな英語を解説していきます。一つ目はこちら。
All right, so let's fast forward to that stage of things. All right, so let's fast forward to that stage of things. All right, so let's fast forward to that stage of things because
Fast forward. Fast forward.
早送りする、一気に進める。では、例文を見てみましょう。
I fast forwarded through the boring parts of the movie. I fast forwarded through the boring parts of the movie.
映画の退屈な部分を早送りした。では、二つ目に行きましょう。
Are you holed up somewhere with Steve? Are you holed up somewhere with Steve? Are you holed up somewhere with Steve?
Hole up. Hole up.
こもる、身を隠す。では、例文を見てみましょう。
He's been holed up in his room studying for the exams. He's been holed up in his room studying for the exams.
彼は試験勉強のために部屋にこもっている。では、次で最後です。
And twists and turns and twists and turns and twists and turns and
Twists and turns. Twists and turns.
予想外の展開、紆余曲折。では、例文を見てみましょう。
The movie had so many twists and turns that I couldn't predict the ending. The movie had so many twists and turns that I couldn't predict the ending.
その映画は予想外の展開が多すぎて結末を予測できなかった。はい、今回はここまで。最後までご覧いただきありがとうございます。いいねやチャンネル登録もぜひお願いします。